The alarm lights blinked faintly through the circular window of the ship. The man lay half awake, tangled in white sheets, trying to understand if he was still dreaming. His head felt heavy, as if the night had been endless. When his eyes opened fully, he froze. Above him, staring with wide, glowing eyes, was the alien girl. Her skin shimmered a shade of violet under the soft golden lights of the cabin. Her breath was calm, but her eyes were full of urgency. She was close, too close. Her hands pressed gently against his chest as if she had been trying to stop him from moving. He wanted to scream, but the words caught in his throat. His mind told him he was trapped, yet something in her eyes was not dangerous. It was desperate. He blinked hard, trying to remember how he had even ended up in this room with her. She wasn't just a stranger. She was his assigned housekeeper. When the government first introduced them, the explanation had been simple. Aliens needed to learn human culture, and humans needed them for new technology. It was supposed to be safe routine, nothing like this. Now in this dim and silent room, nothing felt safe at all. His heart raced. Why? Why are you on me? He finally asked, his voice breaking. Her lips trembled, and she leaned closer. Her voice was soft but carried weight, almost trembling with a hidden storm. You need to stay still, she whispered. They are listening. He wanted to ask who, but she pressed a finger gently to his lips. The gesture was strange, part human, part alien, but full of fear. She turned her head toward the glowing walls, her huge eyes scanning as though invisible eyes were watching them. He followed her gaze, but he saw nothing. Just the mechanical hum of the ship and the soft pulse of yellow lights. Her closeness made his pulse pound louder. He tried to push her off gently, but she didn't move. Listen to me, she whispered again, firmer this time. If you move, if you speak too loud, they will know you are awake. And then they will come. The words struck him harder than any nightmare. Awake? Who was supposed to know? He struggled to think clearly. Who will come? He asked again, this time barely moving his lips. Her answer came slowly, like it was dangerous even to say it. The ones who made the war happen. The ones who want both our kinds gone. A shiver ran down his back. He had heard rumors of the war. Years ago, humans thought it was just a border conflict between alien factions. But whispers had said otherwise, that something larger was controlling it, something that needed humans and aliens to keep fighting. The truth had never reached him, until now. She finally shifted, lowering herself to sit beside him on the bed. The tension in her body made her look fragile, like she had been awake for nights without sleep. Her hands trembled as she held the blanket tightly. They are not what you think, she said softly. Not humans, not aliens, but something in between. They hide in every system, in every machine. They use war as fuel. He sat up slowly, trying to keep his movements small, as if the walls themselves were listening. Why tell me this? Why? Now, her eyes glistened, reflecting the dim light like liquid glass. Because you woke up earlier than expected. They thought you would sleep longer. They never planned for you to open your eyes and see me like this. But now that you have. She paused, her lips parting as if the words themselves hurt to speak. You must help me stop them. The room felt smaller suddenly, as if every shadow carried a secret. He searched her face for lies, but found none. Her fear was real. Her urgency was real. He thought about his ordinary life before this, about signing the agreement to host an alien housekeeper, about believing it was just for cultural exchange. But nothing about this moment felt like an exchange. This was survival. He whispered, "What do they want with me?" Her shoulders sank and her voice grew quieter. You are not just a man, you are proof. Proof that humans and my kind can live together without war. Proof they fear. The words sank in slowly. He wanted to deny them, but the conviction in her tone made denial impossible. Proof. That was why she was here. Not just to clean his home, not just to watch over him. She was here because their closeness itself was a weapon against whoever wanted war to continue. Suddenly, a soft hum echoed through the chamber. The walls pulsed red, and a low vibration shook the bed. Her eyes widened, and she grabbed his arm tightly. "They know you're awake," she whispered sharply. He stared back, his fear rising to match hers. Whatever this was, it was only the beginning. The walls of the chamber pulsed with red light, slow at first, then faster, like a heartbeat that did not belong to either of them. The man felt his chest tighten as the vibration spread through the bed. The alien girl's hand clutched his arm with surprising strength, her violet fingers trembling but refusing to let go. "They are scanning us," she whispered, her wide eyes never leaving the glowing walls. "If you move too much, if you speak too loud, the sensors will confirm you are awake. We only have moments before they decide what to do." The man swallowed hard, his throat dry. He wanted to ask who they were, but her grip silenced him. Instead, he forced himself to breathe slowly, copying the rhythm of her steady breaths. Somehow her calmness, though thin and fragile, anchored him. The red glow faded, replaced again by soft golden light. The vibration slowed until it was gone. She finally loosened her grip, but didn't let go completely. Her voice was barely more than a breath. "We are safe for now, but not for long." He sat still, trying to make sense of it. Safe? What was that? Her gaze shifted toward the ceiling, then back to him. "They are the Watchers. Machines built not by humans or my kind, but by something else, something ancient. They control the war from the shadows. And if they learn you are awake and with me, they will erase us both." The words sent another chill down his spine. The war, the years of fear, the endless loss, it had always felt too large, too complicated for one enemy. Could it really be machines? Something older, hidden in the systems of both species? He leaned forward slightly, keeping his voice low. "Why me? Why now?" Her face softened, her large eyes glistening as if she carried the weight of centuries in her heart. "Because you are not afraid of me," she said simply. "That is what makes you different. They fear what you and I represent, trust, even between enemies. If others see us, if others know we live together without hate, then their war ends, and their control dies with it." He stared at her, his mind reeling. He was just a man, ordinary. He hadn't asked for this. Yet she looked at him as if he carried the power to break chains that had bound galaxies. Before he could speak, a sudden metallic clang echoed outside the chamber. Both of them froze. The sound was sharp, deliberate, not like the hum of the ship's systems. Footsteps followed, heavy, mechanical, moving closer. The alien girl's body tensed. She turned to him quickly, her voice urgent but quiet. "Listen to me. Do not leave this bed until I say. No matter what you hear, no matter what happens." He shook his head, fear burning in his chest. "I can't just..." She placed her hand gently over his lips again, her touch soft yet firm. "You must, please. If you move, they will know." The footsteps grew louder, stopping just outside the sealed door. A faint hiss of steam escaped the edges, and for a moment, the room felt like it was holding its breath. He stared at her, wide-eyed while she sat straighter, her body glowing faintly in the golden light. Her alien features, once strange and terrifying to him, now looked almost noble, like a shield between him and the unknown. The door trembled once, then twice. But it did not open. Instead, a cold mechanical voice seeped through the walls. "Unit status, dormant. Human consciousness level, 0. Alien consciousness level, suppressed. Monitoring continues." The footsteps retreated slowly, fading into the distance. Only then did she allow herself to breathe. Her shoulders sagged, and she pressed her hands against her face for a moment, shaking with silent relief. He realized she had been holding the fear inside her for far longer than he had. When she looked at him again, her eyes were wet but steady. "Do you understand now? We are prisoners in this place, both of us. And if we don't act soon, they will take away everything." He felt his heartbeat steady, not with calm, but with resolve. The fear was still there, but so was something new, a flicker of anger. He had been used his whole life, told lies about safety, about peace. Now for the first time, he saw the truth. He met her gaze, his voice low but firm. "Then tell me what I need to do." Her lips parted, and for the first time since he woke, a faint smile touched her face. It was small, fragile, but real. "You need to survive," she said softly. "And to survive, you must trust me." And in that moment, with the hum of machines still echoing faintly in the walls, he realized he had no choice but to believe her. The silence after the footsteps was heavy, pressing against the walls of the chamber. The man sat still, his eyes fixed on the alien girl as she rose from the bed. Every movement she made was cautious, as though the walls themselves were alive. She walked toward a panel in the corner of the room. Her fingers hovered above its glowing surface, then pressed in a pattern he had never seen before. The panel hissed softly, opening to reveal a small compartment filled with strange devices, thin rods, crystal-like shards, and a metal cube that pulsed faintly with blue light. He leaned forward. "What is all that?" She turned her large eyes toward him, the glow reflecting in her irises. "Weapons," she whispered, "but not the kind you think. These are for defense, for survival. Some of them are forbidden, even among my people. But here," her voice softened, "here we have no choice." The man's heart quickened. Weapons? Survival? He thought this was just a program, a cultural exchange, a peace effort. Everything was collapsing into something much larger and darker. "Why hide them?" he asked. "Because if the Watchers discover these," she said firmly, "we are already dead." Her hands trembled slightly as she picked up the pulsing cube. She brought it close, and the glow spread faintly across her violet skin. "This is a signal jammer. When activated, it blocks their scanners for a short time, only minutes, no more. Enough for us to move unseen, enough to escape the chamber." Escape, the word lit something inside him, hope mixed with fear. "You mean we can leave this place?" Her lips pressed together, as if she was weighing the truth. "Yes, but leaving is only the first step. Beyond this chamber are more halls, more Watchers. And beyond them, the truth they are hiding. If we reach it, everything changes, for me, for you, for humanity." He stared at her, the weight of her words sinking in. This wasn't just about them anymore. This was about something larger, something that could shake the foundations of both their worlds. But doubt clawed at him. "Why me? Why not someone stronger, someone trained?" She set the cube gently on the bed beside him and met his eyes. "Because they would expect that. Warriors, leaders, soldiers, they watch them all, but you." She paused, her voice soft but steady. "You are invisible to them, ordinary, and that makes you dangerous." The thought struck him hard. Ordinary, that was what he had always believed himself to be. Just a man living his life, caught in a system bigger than him. And yet, in her eyes, that ordinariness was his shield. A sudden sharp beep filled the room. The lights dimmed, then brightened again. The alien girl stiffened, her gaze darting to the door. "They are running another scan," she said quickly. "We have to move soon, or they will realize I have blocked their signals before." He felt his throat tighten. "Move? Now?" Her hand reached out, gripping his tightly. "Yes, it is dangerous, but if we wait, we lose everything. Do you trust me?" He looked into her wide, shimmering eyes. Fear battled inside him, but so did something else, something stronger. "Yes," he whispered. "I trust you." Her fingers squeezed his hand, her face softening for just a moment. Then she turned back to the panel, sliding the rods in shards into a pouch around her waist. She picked up the cube again and held it out to him. "You will carry this," she said. "If anything happens to me, you press here." She pointed to a small groove on the side, "and run." He took it hesitantly, the object surprisingly light in his hands, yet it felt heavier than anything he had ever held. The pulse of its blue glow seemed to echo with his own heartbeat. Before he could speak again, the sound of metal grinding echoed from beyond the door. The lights shifted once more golden to red. Her head snapped toward the sound, her body tense. She whispered sharply, "They're coming." His chest tightened. The watchers, the machines, were on the move again. She turned to him, her eyes blazing with determination now. "Stay behind me. No matter what happens, don't let go of the cube." And with that, she placed her hand against the wall. The panel hissed, revealing a narrow passage hidden behind the bed. The air inside was cold, metallic, and dark. She glanced back at him once, her voice steady but urgent. "This is the only way out. Once we step inside, there is no turning back." The man clutched the cube tightly, his pulse racing. He had never wanted this, never asked for this. But now he had no choice. He followed her into the passage, the walls closing around them. As the sound of the watchers grew louder in the chamber they left behind, the hidden passage was narrow, barely wide enough for them to walk side by side. The air inside was cold and metallic, carrying the faint scent of rust and oil. The man's fingers tightened around the glowing cube in his hand as he followed the alien girl. Every sound seemed louder in the silence, the faint hum of the walls, the soft tap of their footsteps, even his heartbeat. She moved quickly but carefully, her large violet eyes glowing faintly in the dark. "Stay close," she whispered. This tunnel was built long ago, before the watchers controlled everything. They rarely scan this deep, but it is not safe. He nodded, though fear clawed at his chest. "Where does it lead?" "To the service decks," she replied softly. "From there, we can find the main system. If we reach it, I can show you the truth they are hiding." The word truth echoed in his mind. He didn't know what she meant, but every step he took made him more certain that his old life was gone forever. A sudden grinding noise made them both stop. The walls trembled, and a faint red glow appeared ahead of them, seeping into the passage. She stiffened, pulling him back against the wall. "They are here," she whispered, her voice sharp with fear. From the red glow emerged shapes tall, metallic figures, their bodies made of black steel, their heads crowned with glowing sensors that scanned the passage like eyes. Their movements were slow but precise, mechanical footsteps echoing like hammers on stone. The man's breath caught. "What are those?" "Watchers," she answered grimly. "Hunters, built to erase resistance." The nearest one turned its head toward them, the red sensor flashing brighter. A mechanical voice filled the passage. "Unauthorized movement detected. Initiating capture." The alien girl grabbed his hand and pulled him into motion. "Run!" They sprinted through the narrow tunnel, the sound of metal footsteps pounding after them. The watcher's arms extended, shifting into weapons, strange rods that crackled with electric energy. Bolts of light sizzled past them, striking the walls and showering sparks. The man stumbled but kept running, clutching the cube. "We can't outrun them," he shouted. She glanced back, her eyes fierce. "You're right, we fight." She skidded to a stop at a small junction where the tunnel widened slightly. Pulling one of the crystal shards from her pouch, she pressed it against the wall. It glowed brightly, sending out a high-pitched hum. The watchers closed in, their sensors flaring red. One raised its weapon, preparing to fire. "Now!" she cried. The shard exploded in a burst of light, flooding the tunnel with a blinding flash. The machines staggered, their sensors flickering as they reeled from the disruption. Sparks burst from their bodies, and one collapsed. its limbs twitching. She grabbed his arm, pulling him through the smoke. "Go!" They dashed forward again, their breaths ragged, the tunnel shaking from the chaos behind them. The man's chest burned, his legs screaming with pain, but adrenaline drove him forward. When they finally reached a hatch, she slammed her hand against a hidden panel. The door hissed open, and they stumbled out into a wider chamber filled with pipes, wires, and glowing conduits. The man leaned against the wall, gasping. What was that shard? She held up another one, its glow dim. "My people call them disruptors. They confuse machine senses, but only for a short time. It bought us seconds, nothing more." As if to prove her point, the sound of metal footsteps echoed again from the tunnel behind them. The watchers were recovering. He clutched the cube tighter, panic rising. "We can't keep running forever." She turned to him, her face serious but calm. "No, that is why we reach the system. If we destroy their core, the watchers fall. But I cannot do it alone." Her words hit him like a hammer. He was just a man, untrained, unprepared. But the fire in her eyes told him the truth. This fight was no longer hers alone. He swallowed hard and nodded. "Tell me what to do." Her lips curved into the faintest smile, even in the middle of danger. "Stay alive. Hold the jammer. And when the time comes, press it." The pounding footsteps grew louder, filling the chamber. Red lights spread across the walls as the watchers approached. She stepped in front of him, her body glowing faintly in the golden light. "Whatever happens," she said firmly, "I will protect you." The man tightened his grip on the cube, fear and determination battling inside him. The truth was close now, he could feel it. But so was death, and as the first watcher emerged from the tunnel, its red sensor glowing like fire, he realized the next few moments would decide everything. The chamber shook as the first watcher stepped through the hatch, its red sensor glowing like a burning eye. Behind it, more shadows moved, 3, 4, maybe more. The man's heart pounded as the alien girl pulled another shard from her pouch. But he could see her hands trembling. "They won't stop," he whispered, fear thick in his throat. "They don't stop," she replied calmly, though her eyes betrayed exhaustion. "That is why we must end them." The watchers spread across the chamber, their limbs extending into crackling weapons. Sparks danced in the air, casting sharp red reflections on the metal walls. The lead machine raised its weapon, voice flat and merciless. "Unauthorized units, terminate." The alien girl stepped forward, her violet skin glowing faintly in the dim light. She raised her shard high, pressing it against a conduit pipe. A surge of light shot through the wires, bursting into a flash that knocked 2 watchers back, but the rest kept coming. She turned quickly to the man. "The system core is below us through that hatch." She pointed to a circular grate in the floor, glowing faintly blue. "If we reach it, the jammer will work." The man clutched the cube tightly, its pulse matching his heartbeat. "And if it doesn't?" Her eyes met his, steady and full of quiet fire. "Then neither of us leaves this place alive." The weight of her words crushed him, but there was no time for doubt. Together they rushed toward the grate. Sparks flew as watchers fired at them, the bolts exploding against the walls. He stumbled, nearly falling, but she caught him with surprising strength, pulling him forward. They reached the hatch and she slammed her hand against the panel. The floor split open with a hiss, revealing a narrow shaft glowing with blue light. Without hesitation, she pushed him forward. "Go!" He slid down the shaft, the cube clutched tight in his hands. Cold air rushed past him, and he landed hard on a metal floor below. Pain shot through his side, but he forced himself up as she dropped down beside him, landing lightly. The room they had entered was vast, larger than any chamber he had seen. In the center stood a towering structure of black steel, its surface alive with pulsing red and blue veins of light. It throbbed like a living heart, wires stretching outward like veins into the walls. The man's breath caught, What is that? Her eyes narrowed. The system core. The mind of the Watchers. If it falls, the war changes. Humanity changes. Everything changes. The cube in his hands pulsed brighter, as if it knew its purpose. She placed her hand gently over his. This is why you woke. This is why they fear you. Together, we can end their control. Before he could answer, the sound of metal crashing echoed above. The Watchers were dropping into the chamber, their red sensors blazing. The alien girl stepped forward, drawing 2 shards that glowed with white light. They will not let us reach the core. Stay behind me. But the man shook his head, clutching the cube. His fear was still there, but so was something new, something stronger. No, we do this together. Her eyes widened slightly, then softened. For the first time, she gave him a full smile, small, but filled with trust. Then together, the Watchers advanced, their voices cold and unyielding. Unauthorized, erase. She hurled 1 shard, the explosion lighting the chamber like lightning. He raised the cube, its glow flaring as energy rippled outward. The system core pulsed faster, reacting to the cube's presence. The battle had begun. They moved as one, her deflecting attacks with shards of light, him shielding the cube as it pulsed stronger and stronger. The chamber shook, conduits bursting, sparks raining from the ceiling. The Watchers pressed forward relentlessly, their weapons firing in perfect rhythm. But for every step they took, the man and the alien girl pushed back. She fought like a storm, every movement precise and desperate. He held the cube high, its glow spreading across the chamber, weakening the machines as if they were being unmade from the inside. The system core trembled, its red veins dimming, its blue light surging brighter. They are losing control. She shouted. The man's arms ached, his lungs burned, but he held on. He could feel the cube pulling at him, draining his strength, but also filling him with something powerful, something greater than himself. The lead Watcher staggered, sparks erupting from its chest. Its voice crackled, breaking apart. Human, alien, unity, error, system, collapse. The alien girl's eyes blazed as she hurled her last shard, striking the lead Watcher square in its core. It exploded in a burst of fire and light, shaking the chamber. The remaining Watchers faltered, their red sensors flickering. She turned to him, shouting over the chaos. Now, use the cube. He stared at the glowing structure before him, the living heart of the machines. The cube pulsed in his hands, demanding release. His breath caught. This was it, the moment that would decide everything. He raised the cube high, and with all his strength, he pressed the groove. The chamber erupted in light. The cube released its energy in a blinding wave. Light tore through the chamber, flooding every shadow, every conduit, every machine. The man staggered back, shielding his eyes as the walls shook violently. The system core screamed not with sound, but with a deep vibration that rattled the bones in his body. The alien girl clung to the floor, her eyes glowing brightly as she shouted above the chaos. It's working! Don't stop! The cube pulsed, faster in his hands, almost alive, draining him with every beat. He felt his strength fading, but he refused to let go. Images flashed in his mind: war, destruction, fire, cities falling. But then other visions came, humans and aliens standing together, working, laughing, living without fear. The core's red veins shattered one by one, bursting into sparks of light. The Watchers staggered, their limbs twitching as their red sensors dimmed. Some collapsed outright, their frames crashing against the metal floor. The lead Watcher, half destroyed, but still moving, dragged itself forward. Its voice crackled, broken and distorted. System must endure. Unity is forbidden. The alien girl stood tall, her shards gone, her body trembling but her voice steady. No, she said firmly. Unity is freedom. The cube flared with one final surge, brighter than the sun. The core split open, light pouring out in rivers of blue. The vibration ended with a thunderous crack, and then silence. The man fell to his knees, the cube crumbling into dust in his hands. The watchers lay still, their red sensors extinguished forever. He gasped for breath, his body shaking from exhaustion. Is it over? The alien girl stepped toward him, her violet face illuminated by the soft blue glow still pulsing from the shattered core. She reached down, helping him to his feet. Yes, the core is gone. The watchers are finished. Humanity is free. He looked at her, still dazed. Free? You mean the war? Her eyes softened. Without the watchers, there is no war. It was never humans versus aliens. It was always them. Now the choice is ours to rebuild, together. The weight of her words sank into him. Together. That was what the watchers feared most, and what they had just proven possible. For the first time since he woke, he felt something stronger than fear-hope. He managed a weak smile. Then I guess I owe my housekeeper my life. Her lips curved into a faint, almost playful smile, though her eyes still glistened with emotion. Not just your life, she said softly. All of humanity. The chamber's blue glow dimmed slowly, leaving only silence behind. The man and the alien girl stood side by side, surrounded by the ruins of the Watcher's machines. For a long moment, neither spoke. The war was over, but a new beginning had just been born. Humanity would learn the truth, and with it, the chance to build something greater. She turned to him at last, her voice gentle but firm. This is only the beginning. What we do next will shape the future of both our kinds. He nodded, his chest rising with steady breath. Then let's shape it, together. And with that, they walked out of the chamber, leaving the broken machines behind. Two figures, one human, one alien, stepping into a future no one could have imagined. But one they had earned with trust, courage, and unity.